Being a Formula One team principal is one of the most complex jobs in the world, with multiple priorities and constant pressure from the fans and media. There is nothing quite like it. And that's why when one with nearly 3 decades of experience comes along, it raises the paddock's interest. The man in question is Mattia Binotto, with a former Ferrari man gearing up his own back on his former employers. Arguably, the most complicated job in Formula One is being the team principal of Ferrari, with the prancing horse having such high demands of its team and, in particular, its team principal. Many believe that being head of the Ferrari team is a cursed role, with the pressure to succeed too great. Even Toto Wolff weighed in on the pressure of being the Ferrari head honcho. You're representing Ferrari, you're representing the whole country, and they ride you up, they ride you down, but with brutality. So yes, certainly team principal of Ferrari, there is more pressure. Probably as an Italian even more, because as a foreigner you just don't read the news. But as an Italian, clearly you're in the firing line, said Wolff. One man that can attest to that is Mattia Binotto, with the Swiss-Italian being fired after a decent season. He took Ferrari from 3rd in 2021 to 2nd in 2022, amassing 200 more points than the previous season. A reputable building block to work on for the next season. I mean, it's not like Ferrari went backward. However, this does only really paint one side of the picture, as most of us who watched the season know that although Ferrari had improved, their strategy was a shambles. There was a rumor of unhappiness in the paddock as well as in the boardroom. I mean, their strategy was so bad that they turned into a walking meme, with the term Ferrari moment being used when there was yet another blunder by the prancing horse. Social media can be harsh, but let's be honest, it was the truth. As they say, it's the hope that gets you, and in this case, what hurt Binotto the most, with Ferrari's strong start fading as the season went on, and their title challenge ending meekly after the team struggled to build on the early success. However, I'll be honest and put it out there, I'm not sure Ferrari got it right. After a strong start and the improvement we saw in 2022, they should have given Binotto more time. But unfortunately for Binotto, we don't get to decide his future, and at the end of the season, the former team principal got sacked. I mean, resigned according to reports, but the jury is still out if he chose to leave or was forced out. Binotto is probably sitting in his house in Modena, Italy, sipping on a good red and smiling to himself, as it's not exactly going well for his former team. The team has had a slow start to the season, with some improvements, but they are still off the pace. And it looks like it is not only Binotto that has left, but 2 key figures at Ferrari. Laurent Mekies and David Sanchez have left, with both of them taking a wealth of experience. And as we all know, it is hard to come by excellent engineers in F1. The pair having a combined 4 decades of experience, it's a big hole to fill, and to make matters worse, it looks like Charles Leclerc is also not exactly ready to commit to the Italian team. Asked in an interview with Bild whether he has any conditions for a contract extension with F1's most famous team, "No, because I believe in the team 100% and trust everyone from the mechanics to the team principal. The team also has to believe in me too, but it's also too early to talk about a new contract," Leclerc said. Now, we all know Charles' love for Ferrari and his desire to bring the World Championship back to the Tifosi. Still, everyone has their limit. When his contract runs out, then best believe there will be a whole host of teams looking for his signature, with Toto Wolff not even hiding his agenda with Charles. When asked whether he had held talks with Leclerc, Wolff said, "The only time I talked with him is when we discussed where the gate is in Melbourne to board the plane. Charles is a super guy, and for the long-term future, someone you have to have on your radar, but not for the short and medium term." Sneaky from Toto, but come on, I'm sure if you ask Horner the same thing, then he will say exactly the same thing. And all of this is happening while Binotto sips his favorite wine. So what exactly is the ex-team principal's plan? Well, according to Haas team principal Gunther Steiner, he is not far away from a return to F1. "I don't know what Mattia Binotto is currently working on," claims the Italian Haas boss, a good friend of Binotto, who refuses to give much away about the former Ferrari boss's plans. "However, I am sure that if the opportunity arises, he will come back to Formula One. Don't ask me where, when and why though, but in general, I do think he will come back," Gunther Steiner told the Mirror when asked if the Italian would make another appearance in Formula One. "He worked for Ferrari for a very long time, I think 28 years. It was his first job in Formula One, and he's never been anywhere else. Of course, it's hard when you have to leave like that, but I think he's over it and is focused on his future," Steiner continued. This statement got us thinking, with Mattias's gardening leave surely coming to an end soon, we may be seeing the former Ferrari man back in the paddock sooner than we expected. But where exactly could we see him? Well, now that is the million-dollar question, and one we'll try to answer by giving you all his options. Now, seeing as Gunter is the one that got our intrigue going, could we be seeing the former Ferrari man at Haas? With no disrespect to Haas or Gunter Steiner, this is probably the last thing that Mattia would want to get involved in, as he wouldn't be fighting at the back, but rather looking to improve a car at the back to become a midfield contender. Binotto has probably earned more than that after his nearly 30 years in F1. Right, so we're thinking of a team that is looking to compete at the front of the pack with a significant financial backing. Really, only one team springs to mind, and that is Aston Martin. The Silverstone-based team have been flying this season, with many seeing them as having the most potential to challenge Red Bull. There are also rumors that Aston Martin is looking to ditch Mercedes in favor of Honda, and Binotto's expertise in engine building has helped build one of the most powerful engines for Ferrari, which could be invaluable for Stroll and his team. Almost a decade into F1's hybrid era, there has been nothing yet to disprove Ron Dennis's theory that a works engine deal is essential if a team has serious ambitions of winning the World Championship, and Lawrence Stroll knows it. Lance Stroll has tried everything from wanting to build his own engines to looking at purchasing Mercedes outright. With the billionaire going to great lengths to build one of the best cars on the grid, and with Honda now being available, Stroll may finally be getting it right. This could be ideal for Binotto. Let's say Mr. Stroll, in conjunction with the title sponsor Aramco, approaches Binotto with the task of using all the experience of his years at Ferrari to build the most powerful engine he can for 2026. Money, no objects, with the promise of building the rest of the car around whatever he comes up with. Such a lucrative offer with huge technical influence in his area of expertise, but none of the responsibility, would be difficult to turn down. However, another major contender for Binotto is Audi, with the team looking to really dominate when it formally enters the sport in 2026. Speaking to Pit Talk podcast, Italian journalist Leo Torini claims, "I'm absolutely certain that he has had a proposal from Audi to lead the team that will be on the grid in the near future." And with McLaren's team principal Andrea Seidel, who left Woking to become CEO of Sauber, it is interesting to note that Seidel has chosen to appoint Alessandro Bravi as the team's official team representative for the time being, rather than replacing Vassar, who was left for Ferrari. The Vassar's move to Ferrari so swift, Maranello must have repaid Binotto's favor by giving him a 6-month gardening holiday. Binotto could then be announced as Sauber Alfa Romeo team boss sooner rather than later. Without his history in endurance events, Binotto could be the ideal appointment, as he specializes in high-risk, high-reward philosophy, with the small turbo in 2022 being both their greatest strength and their biggest weakness, offering unmatched acceleration out of corners but also at the root of their reliability woes. The Italian flair with the German endurance could be a match made in heaven, with many thinking this will be his next position. There is also talk of Red Bull and Mercedes, but these are highly unlikely, as they probably don't need Binotto.